Target Trading Academy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Preston Vogl here at Target Trading Academy with today's Micros Market Recap. Let's get right into it. It is Tuesday, January 7th at the close of New York, 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Let's open up oil. Uh, just taking a look at oil, we opened a gap up from the close. That was way down here somewhere. Had initial selling off, hit this HVA edge once, twice, bounced off of it both times. Had response on the short as well. But overall, the buyers overtook those opening highs and had a change of hands for the day's start. So that sentiment of opening gap up remained the same. So we never actually made it down to the range or even the close from the day prior. So we had a gap and go, and we had response on the upward end around those levels accordingly several times. Again, these levels are drawn the night before the next day's trading endeavors. So keep that in mind that they are drawn the evening before. They're not drawn during the pit session at all. They're drawn shortly after the pit session closes for the next day. As far as gold goes, gold opened relatively close to its close from the prior day, had a little bit of run down, found support, hit that HVA edge above us, and it fought it for a little bit. And then we had some support finally kick in again as they tested those lows and the market drove up. Ultimately, you see the news that came out at 12:40 with Powell speaking around that time. I don't follow the news in terms of what is said, mainly because the markets are heavily manipulated by institutions. So it doesn't really matter what is said. It's just a matter of what is in front of you. Trade is what is in front of you. If the indicators that you're using are saying whatever they're saying, then go by them. Don't go off your own sentiment or what you feel the market should do, because that's just not how it works. It doesn't care about your feelings. It just cares what has the most power behind the move. And that's going to be with the big boys. But you can see the response around here, especially with that news. The levels held tremendously with that volatility that stepped in. Ultimately, we did finish above the close in gold, so we are net positive there. Same as with oil, obviously. As far as our equities go, well, that was it was an interesting day, so to speak. It was a little bit slow this morning. The opening of the market most certainly was slow, and then it started picking up closer and closer as we got to the news cycle. But as far as where we opened inside the range below the close, had a little bit of initial selling, and for the most part, that first hour and a half or so, it was just sideways, nothing much going on. You can still see the response around that HVA edge, but it's just too many times at the well, per se, to be looking for something there. But ultimately, around 11 o'clock, the buyers really started stepping it in, making new highs, and then that 1240 news kicked in, and you can just see that just made the markets go crazy, and it just drove it up, came back down, hit those levels, and then they made new lows for the day. And then they decided to make new highs yet again shortly before we're closing here. So without further detail and explanation, we are closing net positive, especially since we got most of the volatility from that 1240, 1 o'clock move that carried us through this range expansion through the rest of the day. It's a similar story in the NASDAQ, just really sideways and choppy in the beginning. And that's to be anticipated with that news that's coming out. Uh, so if you're keeping an eye on when the news comes out, that's a good idea. I wouldn't trade around the news. I would wait a couple minutes before anything comes out, and then when the news comes out, see how volatile it is and see if it's worth the risk, or if you have the risk, I should say, to be trading during that time. But with NASDAQ, it did open inside of its range below that level as well. And it just was choppy and went sideways for the most part. Again, that first hour and a half, and then those buyers stepped in. News came out, and much like the ES, new highs, new lows, and then again, new highs. And that's where we are finishing off for the day here at Target Trading Academy. So we are net positive in all of our markets that we have here on the screen. If you are interested in finding out more information about futures, the methodology that we teach live in the rooms every day the market's open, or about these levels that we give out to our students each night before the market's open, feel free to reach out to us. We are Target Trading Academy. You can find us online or go to our Facebook page. Our website is targettrading.co. Again, that is targettrading.co. And if you just go to Facebook, just search Target Trading Academy. You can get in touch with a representative at either location. If you do, they'll gladly show you what we do in our rooms each and every day, and you'll be able to see for yourself why we are the #1 trading education company in the world. So get a hold of one of our consultants and talk with them. And again, you'll be able to see why we are the #1 trading education company in the world. We look forward to seeing you there.